Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the History of Fan Anime. I'm your host, William Chow, and in today's episode, we're going to get into some famous people that have been in the Vancouver Japanese Animation Society. Okay, so the concept is that when we had these fan clubs and these groups where basically a whole bunch of fans and people got together. A lot of people have this misconception that they're just a bunch of nerds, that are just a bunch of people that are just hanging out together, and not much of will occur to them or end up happening with them, and they just just be ordinary people, right? But we do have a group of various different people in our group that went on to do stuff within anime and also do stuff within the gaming industry and that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to spend this episode to give recognition to those different type of people that have been in our Vancouver Animation Club, and then you can be surprised to kind of see where some people have gone in this world. Okay, so before I begin, I want to remind people to go down below, click like and click subscribe. That definitely does help out the YouTube algorithm, as well as if you want to support me financially. I do have the PayPal and the Patreon. Now, getting really close to the time where we're going to do the anime giveaway, so it's always a good time to to get on that PayPal or Patreon list, because then you get a higher priority for anime giveaway stuff. I've been already sort of accumulating some stuff. It looks like I'm going to have a lot more CDs. I'm going to do a lot of figurines and stuff in this next little batch. So definitely, if you're interested in that kind of stuff, you do want to make sure you're on there and check it out. Also, on the Patreon, I've also set up the information now necessary to do media trades and that kind of stuff. So again, we're going to try to bring back that sort of nostalgic sort of view of that. So again, anyone who's participated in an anime giveaway and have gotten like an old video cassette or gotten like an old DVD or CD-ROM or of that kind of stuff, and you want to get more of that kind of stuff, I have now started to post a list of that as well. So again, if you want to go down to the link, you can go and see the files available for that. So I've got the first anime. I do believe right now I've got the anime right now set up. I'm right now going to do the Japanese TV shows and the Japanese music programming next. It's it's a pretty large directory. It's almost like I think it's close to like 3 or 4 terabytes of files and that kind of stuff. So I got to kind of sort it out and make it a little bit easier for you guys to figure out. But yeah, so that should be ready relatively soon. So again, if you want to participate in that, do check that out. Okay. So today's episode, again, we're going to get into this concept of I said it was asked for me from I do believe one of the podcasts. So someone asked me is that have you ever thought of taking your what you've done for fan subbing and that kind of stuff and actually gone professional with it, right? Work for a particular company to make actual fan subs or something like that, and this or like actual subtitling, right? And no, I never really decided to do that because I was mostly doing it for the fun of it, for that main reason. But some other people obviously went on and took their talents and did other things with various different things, whether it's animation, whether it's video games, or it's with anime itself. Okay, so I'm just going to go through and give credit to some of these people, and give them a shout out for all the things that they've done for our community and for the betterment of shall we say their personal lives and that kind of stuff as they've gone on. Okay, so without further delay, let's go through some of the stuff that some of these people have done. All right. One of the famous anime person that has been in our group is Anna Exter. Now here she is showing with us when we went to our road trip down to San Diego Comic Con and the Anime America back in 1995. When we went on this long road trip, and we stopped by Lal's parents' place in San Jose. I initially contacted Anna Exter when she was a member of the CFO, and even back then she had a good grasp of doing anime and that kind of stuff and whatnot. And one of the things I got her to do was to do various different things like song translations and whatnot. But what really was key was I got her to start working on the Dan Cougar TV series. And I got her to do the entire translation for that particular series. So much so that by the time I got finished doing the TV series, and Exter actually came over and taught her how to use the subtitling system and that kind of stuff that I had going. And she ended up doing the subtitles for the Dan Cougar movie. And she did all the timing and that kind of stuff, as well as the subtitling for that. So she was one of the first people that that actually was taught how to do the actual subtitling system well enough that she actually managed to do to actually take her translations, put it into like computer with time code and all that kind of stuff, and actually run it through. And I think she had to run it like almost 7 times almost, to actually get a finished production copy for Dan Cougar. And I think she worked like tirelessly overnight that one day, just to do that. So anyway, so yes, if you go down to her list of various credits and that kind of stuff, she does many different anime translations. I think she even commented that one of her favorite things that she did was Saber Marinette J when she did the translations for that one. So this is definitely an example of someone who's taken their talents of when we did the fan subs and whatnot, and actually went on to actually get a job doing stuff for actual commercial companies doing Japanese animation stuff. The other really famous person in this picture is Richard, and now Richard, of course, I've already interviewed him multiple times. You can go down to my links below to go and look at what episodes he's in. But yes, he's one of these extras, sort of an actor sort of thing, in a lot of various different sort of movies. His most recent things that he's done is he's in the new Godzilla, which is on Apple TV, as well as he was featured in various different sort of martial arts movies and whatnot, as well as various action movies such as Skyscraper, featuring The Rock. In the future, I'll probably get into another episode where I, hopefully, ask him about some of his roles and that kind of stuff, so we'll have a better idea of what things he's done. Okay, so next thing I'll go up with is when we did our BBS meet. Okay, so if you want to go back to this episode, do go back and talk when I talk about this whole entire concept of the BBS meet. So I gathered a bunch of people from the bulletin board system, and we made and this is our VJAS Muyo sort of episode, okay? And so some of the famous people in here is, I'll start with the 2 comic book artists. We have, first of all, Bill Jang and Mujib Ramen, okay? Now, both of them basically went with us down to the San Diego Comic-Con. They both bought, art portfolios and that kind of stuff to show to the various different companies and that kind of stuff to see if they can get a position and whatnot. And so they managed to land a deal with Academy Comics, which at that time was just starting to do the remakes of the Robotech comics. And so they got, the jobs to do various different art stuff with that particular company. And so first we'll go through Bill Jang, and so you can see he does a whole bunch of different Robotech stuff and some other kind of various different artworks and that kind of stuff, and did some pretty good stuff for that. So again, check some of those comics out that he's done. Mujib is almost the same thing. He got in with Academy Comics and did a bunch of covers and a bunch of stuff that's like inset in the various different comics in there as well. And so that's an example of someone who's taken their art, their artistic and kind of their love for drawing pictures and that kind of stuff and whatnot, and actually doing some works with that, okay, and some of the different things that they've done. So again, that's sort of more people have gone on to do work in the industry, okay. The other person that's in this picture that has gone on to do things is the Daryl Yang. Okay, he went back to Taiwan, and he basically got working with a basically a DJ club sort of company, right? So he does a lot of mixing, he does a lot of production work, and doing big major concerts and get-togethers and that kind of stuff. Where they do a whole bunch of music performance and that kind of stuff, DJing kind of stuff, right? And he's been associated with a lot of very famous people, very famous DJ and recording artists and that kind of stuff. in his field, okay, working there. So he's really pretty cool in that, okay. Okay, we continue on here, and we move on to 2003. This is where we had my birthday party, and we went to Gotham Steakhouse. That's what it was. And so yeah, a group of guys got together, and we had this special room for us. And in this picture, I'll point out two people. The first one is Fonda Louie, and he basically ended up getting a job doing a lot of different 3D modeling and sort of game related kind of stuff. And if you look at his profile, he's done various different things for TV programs. He's also done a lot of stuff for Electronic Arts, doing FIFA and that kind of stuff, as well as he's done a lot of other design and model work for a whole bunch of other various different type of games. Okay, the other person in this picture that I want to make a note of is standing right beside him. This is Dilber Man. And again, he's also went on to do a lot of work with a whole bunch of different video games. And so he's got a pretty long, extensive list of what stuff he's actually worked on, what he's supervised on, and whatnot. And he's got a really long career of doing a lot of different, cool stuff. I've also featured him in an episode where I was doing the interview with Troy. That he had made an exhibit of all his collectible figurines. Now he's one of these one of these guys that collects the much larger scale kind of stuff, and so much so that he had so much stuff that he actually filled up the Surrey Museum full of all his Marvel and DC kind of stuff and whatnot, and he actually made an exhibit for that particular stuff, for fan kind of related material. So again, two guys who basically took their careers and made a lot of stuff with video games and stuff, as well as putting out in popular media. But again, with their love of doing computer and animations and that kind of stuff. Now I was gonna do an episode probably a little later on where we talk about like people's collections, right? Because I said I myself have lots of anime laser discs, anime like CDs, like Japanese CDs. Obviously I have a lot of things like video games and that kind of stuff. But obviously other people like the Happy Console Gamer has lots of video games. Video game magazines. I know he has lots of Dungeons and Dragons kind of stuff. Lots of various different artwork. But then there's many other people that have also a lot of other kind of hobbies and that kind of stuff. And when I was interviewing Troy, he's got a kind of a Sailor Moon thing going on there. So, and of course Dilber here, he collects a lot of these large scale type of figurines and that kind of stuff. Like much larger than the the regular ones that you get in the kit. These are like 1/6, 1/4 size type of things. Really large, enough to fill a big chunk of the Surrey Museum here. So that's one of those episodes I'll get into a little later on. But yeah, again, just concentrating on the different works he's done. Yeah, he's done a lot of work, in the computer industry, making lots of cool stuff. Okay, and the last person I wanted to just make a quick mention about is Michael Telford. Now, he is one of the, relatively old members of the Vancouver Japanese Animation Society. I had to go through my old membership book. Okay, we called it the Big Black Book, which actually is the Blue Book, but it had all the names of all the some 1,000 members of the Vancouver Japanese Animation Society that we had there. And yes, I remembered that he appeared on one of these Canadian shows called Canada's Worst Drivers, season number 2. And he almost won. He actually was he was the second runner-up in that contest. And so that was sort of another one, one of these people that, that was in a group that, went on to become somewhat famous. Okay, so hope you found that really interesting. And yeah, again, there's obviously there's more people that are out there. These are just happen to be the ones that are relatively close and that I remember really easily. We've had probably over 1,000+ members of whatever in the Vancouver Japanese Animation Club, and I haven't gone through every single name to figure out whether or not they've done anything or whatever. But these are ones that sort of came to mind and are that had most relatively close to me, that, personally, that I can remember that I've experienced this for. Okay, and again, I can, when I hopefully get in touch with these people, I will be able to maybe do an interview and then go over some of the stuff that they've done and whatnot. And so again, hopefully in the future, I'll get some more interviews and more of that kind of stuff where we can talk about some of the things that we did back in the day. And again, right? So until next time, I will see you again.